What is going on today, guys? So already about 7, 8 o'clock. I've been in the shop working. Missed yesterday. Honestly, still feel like crap today, but got this like 24-hour bug deal, coughing, congested, whole deal. But I was in the shop yesterday cleaning up, just doing some other random stuff. In the shop today working. Just really feel like crap. I didn't really feel like anything was like overly exciting that I was doing to film, but I'm gonna recap not only the 12 valve, where we're at with that, but the 05. I think we're actually just about ready to start it up. Finished all the fuel pump stuff up on that, but let's go over the 12 valve quick. So last where I left you guys was basically over in the parking lot where I was so pumped and awesome that this thing was running and driving. Got back home and had a little bit of a different scenario happened. So we got home. I may or may have forgotten that we did not have fans, which I don't think had a whole lot to do with it, but we did have a pretty significant air pocket in the truck, which caused it to get just a little hot while we happened to be checking the transmission fluid in the driveway. So that may or may not have happened. It definitely happened. So it got a little warm. On the common rail trucks, I really never really ran into like a air pocket, air bleeding problem. I mean, they're pretty well. All I do is let them run for just a little while, and they seem to be pretty good. These 12 valves, apparently, from what Johnny Sendit and everybody else is telling me, they're pretty air pocket prone. So we do have a couple items to address with that. First, we're going to go over the comment about me wanting to weld the rear solid. Now, I've went over this plenty of times before, and the plans for the truck are to swap the rear end to like an AAM or a Dana 80 to get disc brakes. We just rebuilt this to get it up and running. I do want it to do a burnout with both tires, so we are probably going to end up welding the rear. It's not something I would recommend or suggest for someone that's going to be driving the truck a lot, but this is just a fun play project truck, and burnouts are no fun when you're only doing it with one tire. So the other thing, as you may have seen, is I took the rear Dodge emblem off of the back. I knew there were going to be holes, but I wanted to clean behind there and kind of see what it would look like with the truck. I do plan on swapping a older 89 to 91, even probably older than that, where it says Dodge Ram on the back of it instead of like that plastic piece that's right there. So that is for the future plan, but it's off for now. Let me know what you guys think if it looks completely out of place. A lot of other comments that I've been reading are about painting the truck or leaving the patina. The patina is here to stay, guys. That was the whole point of this truck. I really do like the way it looks. The whole plan was never to buy something to fully restore it. I've said that multiple times, but there's new people here every day. So the plan is not to fully restore this truck. It's definitely not. I don't want to sink tons and tons of money. If I were going to do that, I probably would have bought a cleaner base to start with. This does have dings, dents, things that you guys probably can't even see on camera that would probably make doing the bodywork and getting it perfect probably very big investment, which we're not going to end up doing. So I also talked to the guy who's going to be helping me do the alignment. He's not around for another week or two because he's really helping me do it on the side at his shop. So we're gonna have to wait to get it aligned. That's the next thing. The next thing is we do happen to have on number 6 cylinder and number 3. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. It really only happens when it's really hot and running. We do have a little bit of fuel leak going on. The fuel leak's actually not coming from the return washers or the nuts. It looks like it's actually coming up where the hold down nuts are. So we might actually have to just pull the injectors out, clean them up, reseat them, new copper washers, and go at it that way. So that's the plan for now on that, to fix the fuel leak. The other thing is, I didn't know about our little air pocket prone 12 valves. So we are going to have Ryan come over and have me airlift this thing and try and get all of the air pockets out of it the correct way, I guess, if you want to call it. The other thing is when I put this piece in here to eliminate the heater core line, it actually raised up the heater core lines quite a bit here, which one of you guys did comment. This line is up pretty high, which probably is not helping, seeing that if you look at it, it's pretty close to the top of the cap, which it should be down about another inch or so. So we do need to probably re-drain the coolant, take care of that, get that down a little bit lower, and probably restart airlifting this thing. A couple other things to mention with the cooling system, which I also did not know. These Mishimoto radiators come with a 19-pound cap, which is pretty high if you know anything about cooling systems, which I'm not an expert by any means, but Mr. Sendit himself also mentioned that he had to change his cap back to I believe a factory is like 10 to 12 pound cap. 19 is pretty high. So what that is doing, I think, is adding some extra pressure in here. Also, these stupid spring clamps happen to be leaking on me, so not only draining the coolant to fix that line down here, I also have some nice clamps, kind of like this Dixon style, nice clamps to go on here, and also on the lower hose, which just has regular hose clamps on it for now. So we are going to get nicer clamps. So we got a couple cooling system things that I really want to take care of, along with just trying to rebleed it, airlift it. A lot of comments about the high idle, which I did take care of today. It's going to be really hard to see, but your idle screw is basically, yeah, you can't see it. You definitely can't see it. Okay, so basically if you're looking at your throttle linkage down there, that brass piece, there is maybe you can make it out, maybe not, probably, there's a screw basically right there that pretty much raises and lowers your idle, basically just by moving this backwards or forward, so it stops a little bit back, a little bit further. So I did adjust that down a little bit. It was idling quite a bit higher, which I don't know if that is caused by the governor spring install or not, but it was idling high. We did take care of that. Other than that, guys, I am pretty pumped on the way the 12 valve is running. All of the new front end stuff feels very tight. The steering shaft feels good. It feels really, really tight. So the other thing I do want to mention, and a lot of you guys will understand the reasoning why I went with this size tire. Some of you guys may not. Like I mentioned before, I stuck with a 30-inch tall tire with a slightly stretched look. I didn't really plan for it to be this stretched. As you can see, it is quite a bit stretched, but the reason I did this was to see how much of a tire I could clear. Now, if you look at here, that is pretty much all I'm going to be able to clear. Like I mentioned, the factory 245 measures a 30-inch tall. Now, this tire, seeing that it's a little bit wider, still measures a 30-inch tall tire. And if you look, if I were to go any bit bigger on the diameter, I would definitely need to either raise this up, which is not in my plans. So you can see I do have a little bit of room in the back, but not a lot. Honestly, the only thing I would probably change on a new tire setup is stick with a 30-inch tall tire and probably try and go to something that is more on the 12-inch wide. But that's the problem. The problem is if you look at truck tires, light-duty truck tires, they don't make a 30-inch tall 12-wide tire, because 30-inch tall is getting into SUV size. Not many SUV tires come in a 12.5 wide tire. So I'm gonna have to do some digging, do some looking, but I am pretty happy with the fact that these do clear without any rubbing whatsoever. That was the plan. That way, if I decided to go maybe just a little bit lower, it's still a possibility. Hopefully that clears some of the tire information up for you. The tire size that's on here now is a 265 50 20. Like I mentioned, measures 30 tall. I believe it's like 11.8, 11.7 wide. It is a car tire. It's an extra load SUV tire, so it is more than capable of handling the weight of the first gen. I'm not really worried about that. It was a little bit more stretched than I had originally planned. I do think I have room to go wider, but as far as tire diameter, I am probably going to stick with something around that 30-inch tall. The other thing I still have to do as well is order some fans. I have not seen that. I've been sick and felt like crap. I really haven't really looked at them. I know Derail sells like complete units, kind of like the Flexolites I have on the 05. I do need to also look at, I only have about 3 inches, 2.5 inches of clearance between that big balancer and the radiator. So I do need to worry about that a little bit. Last comment on the 12 valve, I swear, but the exhaust stack I just threw in there for now. That's not going to be staying like that. I am going to be changing it up just a slightly little bit. I'll leave that for you guys to think about what I'm going to do. Other thing is ride height. If you look at the wheel well gap in the front, do a little zoom job here, you can tell it's pretty tight. It's maybe got about 2 inches or so. In the back here, it's quite a bit taller. Ground to the wheel well gap in the front is 33.25. In the back, it's almost 2 inches higher. So we are going to drop the rear just down slightly. There will be no squatting whatsoever going on, but it is a little too raked out in my opinion. I do want it to kind of sit a little bit leveler, so we are going to drop that just a hair just to get that ride height a little bit meaner. So that is the plan as of now. Also say this again, I know that style is not for everyone with the 12 valve. A lot of people are, you know, really about that 15-inch, 16-inch tire, 285 mud tire look. That's not what we're doing with this thing for the umpteenth time. This is the kind of style that I wanted to go with it, being at 2-wheel drive. So again, I'm just gonna say that again. Got some new light bulbs on this side. But we did go get some fuel. We do have some fuel in here. We do have the air dogs all plumbed up, ready to go. I got a little test gauge on the first one here. While it's running, we're gonna tweak that just slightly, swap it over, put it on the other one, just to make sure the pressures are good, seeing that we are only running one fuel pressure gauge tied in. I want to make sure both pumps are working together perfectly. Got the battery charger, charging her up, but that's the fuel lines. I mean, not really a whole lot to see, just stainless braided fuel lines tied together from the pumps. They're run all the way from the pumps back up to here. Probably going to maybe roll this thing outside to get a little better light and fire this baby up. See what she does. Hopefully she starts. Okay, brakes, brakes, brakes. Okay, let off the brakes. You can shut the key off. That's fine, you're straight. All right, try and start it up. Yeah, try one more time. A little smoky in here, boys. Yep, windows up, please.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you.
I started.
Yeah. Thank you. you know, just wanted to make sure you guys got your daily dose of 12 valve in there too. Alrighty, so the list on the 05 is slowly dwindling down. Basically, need to change the oil. Air dogs are set to where they need to be. Everything's good with that. We need to get the bodywork back, which, fingers crossed, I've told you guys this before, but it should be by the end of this week. No later than the end of this week. I say that again, hopefully, but he has promised me wet sanding and buffing will be completed, done by this weekend. I've kind of mentioned this before too, but I'm not actually using a body shop. I'm using a guy who does auto body on the side that has done auto body for quite a long time, but I'm kind of putting up with a little bit of his time scheduling to do this on the side versus paying through the nose for some auto body shop to not really give a crap about non-insurance work. So that's why it's taking so long. There has been some setbacks that could have been possibly avoided, but at the same time, I would rather wait than spend way over what I think it should be done for. So that is where we're at. Hopefully I make it. We'll be back tomorrow doing some more stuff, but the 05 should be hitting the streets very soon. Poor old girl, still looking all dirty. Still didn't get a chance to do that. So we are gonna knock out these little detail stuff. This little detail stuff, in my opinion, takes the most time and is probably the least entertaining. So we are gonna push through this, get all the details worked out. On the 05, I forgot to mention, we still do need to pop back down to the transmission builder. He is going to readjust the valve body pressures up just a little bit higher. So we do have to take care of a couple little errands, even though it's good to drive on the street, but for track and dyno, he is gonna raise that up just a little bit. So a couple other little tweaks after it's running, a couple other little trips that we gotta do, just kind of like the 12 valve. It's up running, but kind of a little sort of things we gotta do here and there. So we'll get those things knocked out, and then we'll have some fun getting these things on the street, guys. I promise you that. That's gonna do it for this video. I know it was a little bit more blabbing than working, but hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hit that like button before you leave. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys tomorrow. See you.